Hello humans, and welcome to a brand new series. Welcome everyone to the second season of the SMP. Before getting into how I even have over 100 levels, let me show you the lobby I've created. Because I removed villager trades, this is my alternative for the early game. But first, the rest of the lobby looks fairly empty, aside from a couple of paths I made. This is where all the shops will be. Anyone can come here and build their own shop. You can see how some already reserved a place where they're going to build. I'm hoping that eventually this will be filled with shops, maybe not the entire lobby, but I would love to see all the different designs people can make. For now this is empty, so let's take our attention to where there is actually something going on. Oh yeah, there are also those billboards I made. But the shops, this is something I actually like. Because all the vanilla trades have been removed for being a little bit too good and too convenient. I decided to add a few villagers with very basic stuff. Nothing here is particularly fancy, it's just something that one might buy once or twice during the first days on the server. Like the builder's tea, I doubt anyone is going to hoard on those, and they really good early on. Then we have this fella. This is the main villager to convert Minecraft non-renewable diamonds and netherite into coins to use in this market, and what we going to use in this shopping district. Once you convert your valuables into coins, this one will convert them between various tiers of value. Depending on how expensive the thing you buying is. You can see it's possible to trade back and forth between tiers. The only tier that can't go upwards are the copper coins, and that's because those are the coins that can be farmed with the villagers, and are only meant for beginner stuff. Something they also selling is a few basic books. And by basic, I really mean the most basic ones. This is really meant to just help those who have been here for a couple of days, and the prices are fairly bad because I expect people to open shops that sell enchants instead. Like this one, I believe it has Fortune, Silk Touch, and a few other useful enchants. You can come get those, and work your way to something better. On the other side there is even more basic stuff. A few decoration blocks for sale. Some food in case someone is in a rough situation. And the last two are basically to help people start with Farmer's Delight. Sometimes, especially if the world has been explored a lot, it can be hard to find those seeds in the wild, so this is a good alternative. As I mentioned a few times now, none of these trades are any amazing, they are really meant for those who just started, and I think it's a much more sensible way. I want my players to make farms and shops, not just everyone have villagers all the time. As for those copper coins I was talking about before. I showed a few things you can buy with them, but there is more, and you can also farm them. This is the mining dimension. I created this for a simple reason, it can be reset. That means that people can come here and destroy this world with tunnel bores without any worries, and tomorrow I can make a brand new one. You can make copper coins with a few things from the mines. And with those coins, you can get some basic gear, some basic tools, nothing insane, but really helpful at the beginning. You can even get this iron pickaxe really cheap. Which, while I'm here, I'm going to buy some for myself because I haven't really done much other than fishing. You can see I got this diamond pickaxe that 𝐋𝐢𝐬𝐬 gave me, I will get into that in a moment. But first, the last dimension. As the name suggests, this is pretty much an endless sea for all your fishing needs. It's set to peaceful so there is no risk of ever dying other than hunger after too many hours. Here is where I have spent a considerable amount of time. And this is how I got my coins. I farmed to get a fishing rod, and simply been here selling them for coins. There are also a few enchanted books, and the very important lore enchant, of course. Nothing that people will come back for, but really important stuff at the beginning. And that's pretty much it for the dimensions. Now let's go back to the overworld, and really start this series. This is where we decided to settle in. Most people have been playing hard during the weekend, but I wanted to take it with ease, and just relax watching some anime instead. What I ended up doing though, is fishing a lot, like a whole lot. On one hand, because it's an activity I can do on the side while relaxing. On the other hand, because 𝐋𝐢𝐬𝐬 is my neighbor again, and they decided to do some stuff with the enchantment industry mod. Random enchanted items are very useful for that. You can see how many things I ended up getting with this, and this doesn't count all the items that 𝐻𝐬𝐬 already took. Look at the fish alone, there are so many of them, and this is not even all of them. That's pretty much how I ended up having so many levels after a weekend of nothing but fishing. Another big reason to do this is because of these enchanted books. Because we don't have vanilla villagers, it means that getting a mending book is particularly harder now. The only places you can get one is either on a chest as loot, or by fishing. And the chances of either of those things are pretty slim. But if you spend enough time fishing, you eventually get a few of them, and I was fortunate enough to get I think 6 in total until I got a clean one with only mending. 𝐻𝐬𝐬 already has a little setup here that will allow them to use those books to duplicate or enchant items without consuming the book. Even if they have extra enchants, it still can be used and it's very valuable. But this one with nothing but mending is very valuable right now. That's pretty much all I have been doing during the weekend, so I really got nothing on me but a bunch of fish and junk everywhere. I did get a millstone that I used to grind wool to make the first fishing rod, but that's as far as it goes. And well, the diamond pickaxe that you all saw before, which 𝐻𝐬𝐬 gave to me. But my plan right now is to chop down a few trees first, make some chests so I can organize things a bit more, and decide what to do from there. I think I should probably go to the mining dimensions to get some andesite and stuff to get started. Oh, almost forgot, this is the island I decided to claim. It is fairly small, but I do have some plans to make a small little town over here. This is the view from the map. We have 𝐻𝐬𝐬 here, and Wanted over there. Even got a massive volcano between us. It's a fairly good spot for sure, I really like it. But the idea is to make small houses and buildings around this tiny island, and see if I can make a small town that way. I think it's gonna be a fun project to see how to compact things that much, and how to even build that small. For now is back to getting some wood. I will be gathering resources for a bit, and bring you all back when I have something more going on. 𝐻𝐬𝐬 just came online, so let's give her our latest mending finding. We talked during the weekend about how hard was it going to be to get a clean one, and I'm even surprised we found one this quickly. Well, kind of this quickly, it still took many hours. Back to what I was doing, I made this platform to plant big spruce trees to avoid the grass becoming podzol, but you can see how that idea epically failed. It's still a neat setup. The moment a tree grows up, all you gotta do is mine all the bottom blocks except the one touching the mechanical saw, and then you spin the saw with the crank for a little bit, and a little bit more. Then boom, you got all your wood nice and easy. Just need to replant the saplings and gather all the wood on the floor. The hand crank is very handy as the name suggests. Oh, we got another one, awesome. I assumed because the grass blocks aren't touching, the podzol wouldn't spread, but it looks like it works on a radius and doesn't need to be connected for it. I made here a little setup to strip logs for casings, and I'm mostly going to use it to get planks at better rates. Working with some hoppers is the easiest way this early on. It's not particularly fast, but it's decent enough for now. I'm going to throw all this wood in here and going to do something else in the meantime. 𝐻𝐬𝐬 has this disenchanter here that they have been using to generate XP from random items. I'm curious to see how much all these levels might be, and also I would like 𝐻𝐬𝐬 to enchant my pick so I can go get ores too. It doesn't seem to take all the levels in one go. Yes, it pretty much takes a little bit at a time. Oh wow, this is going to take a while. Yeah, no kidding, we going to be here for a while. I think we are almost done with this. Alright, one of them is complete. Now 𝐻𝐬𝐬 will add a silk touch to their own pick, and they're going to let me use it for a little bit. These enchants should improve gathering resources a whole lot more. Now back to more grinding. I have been in the mines for a good while, but it was plenty worth it. I ended up getting a lot of stuff. This is all the ores I was able to get. Some of them are still in raw form, and need to be smelted or crushed, but it's still fairly decent quantities, especially those andesite alloys. Those going to be really useful in a moment. Also worth noting that I don't have a press, or anything yet. I have been making those iron sheets with 𝐻𝐬𝐬's setup over there. I also started getting a bunch of items that I'm going to need for create. There is not a lot for now, but I mainly got a few of the things that will be more annoying to farm every time. So now I just need to see where exactly I want to start this thing. I should probably chop down those trees too when I have a moment. I'm thinking maybe I want to place the workstation over here. Or potentially I could remove the trees and just build right where I'm standing. I think the first section of the workstations is pretty much done by now. Believe it or not, this tiny thing behind me took me many hours to finish, but I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Before we get into it, the idea for the design was to be as small as possible and make a tiny town that way. You can see it's already fairly big and it's still missing the other half of the building, which will include the haunter and the rest of the stuff. But I feel like that will be too big. So, I'm thinking of splitting the workstation in half and leaving this section on its own for now. I really love how this part turned out to be. This is exactly what I had in mind when I was doing it. I love how the pistons go into the wall, and I love the way those naked framed blocks look. I think it looks better than leaving the gap there. I also intentionally left this section of the machine to be seen from the outside. I really love the idea of the glass, but maybe I will tweak this floor a little bit and hide the components a bit more. I'm not fully sure. Let me know in the comments what you think. I could use some suggestions. Overall, I think this size is alright if I don't expand it further, but I want to hear your ideas. As for the workstation goes, it's honestly fairly simple. The top row is the input, the bottom row is the output. The most right one is a washer, which already has some ores on it. Then a cooker for fish. A smelter for anything, plus a second mode to make smooth stone, which I will explain in a bit. The ceiling should eventually have more levers and buttons, I just didn't get to do it yet. Then we have a millstone to grind up wheat or something, with the same input-output setup, and lastly the crusher. It's missing a few things, mainly wiring up some of the redstone I want to have. But it all works perfectly well as it is. If we go down here, you can see how crammed this is. It's a little bit overdone for what it actually is, but it also has some pretty insane speeds, to be honest. This first section over here is the washer. It's hard to tell from the outside, but there is a depot encased between 10 fans blowing into it through water. It's a bit hard to see, but this is where the items end up. Using this depot so mechanical arms can place them there, and pick them up when it's done. Over to this side you can see the mechanical arms that operate this section, and if I'm able to find it. This is the funnel that moves the items back into the output chest. 2 of those mechanical arms are dedicated to this funnel only. Then there is also a chute that, once unlocked, moves certain items back down. Those items end up in this press over here, where they get packed for better storage. You can see on the other side there is a filter on it, that is set to craft every ingot, clay, and a couple of other things. That's to make sure that ingots get converted all the way to blocks. Back on this side, there is a funnel with another filter, that makes sure that only the blocks go through, otherwise the ingots would get picked up too early. Once the blocks go through, one of the mechanical arms will pick it up and move it upwards back into the chest. That also raises the problem that spare ingots might be left behind, so I placed this deployer to fix that. This basically removes the filter from the funnel and lets all the spare items go through. I need to add a timer onto it, and a way to control it with a button instead, but I will wire this up another time. For now, it does solve the issue, and I'm happy with that. It shouldn't be any complicated either. A button attached to a redstone link. Then, a simple redstone clock with enough delay to cycle it twice. It will be easy to do with a couple of extenders and a latch. I need like 3/4s maybe. Yeah, it should be fairly easy. Anyway, that's all for the washer. Now, the next part is over here. This is the cooker. I need to change the floor to slabs or something. But, this is pretty much it. It's the same concept as before, just mildly bigger to fit the campfires in between. This design only has 9 encased fans instead of 10 because I didn't want to lower it further to fit the one at the top. Even then, this is still incredibly fast as it is. This speed controller is what is powering the mechanical arms on this section, which they should be somewhere on this side. It really is a bit crammed in here. Alright, there they are. Those are the two arms controlling the cooker, just one input and one output. Geez, it is hard to move the camera around here. One of them doesn't seem to move, I will figure that out in a second. But it works the same way. Using a depot and funnels for the arms to work with. You can see all of them with their own input funnels. And over at the backside. These are the funnels that control the output. It's incredibly convenient to work with mechanical arms. The next section is this part over here. This is the smelter, as you might notice from the lava. Same concept, 9 encased fans surrounding a depot that is surrounded in lava. Even though there is a lava block on top of the funnel, it won't burn the items inside the depot, which is perfect for this setup. Most of the lava is flowing lava except for the bottom source block and the one at the very top. It works fine, and I didn't want to get more lava. You might also wonder why another depot here, with its own encased fan. This is basically what is producing the smooth stone. At the bottom depot we are smelting anything with throw on it, and also we smelt cobblestone back into normal stone. A couple of mechanical arms will control this section, just like with the previous designs. When it comes to the stone though, we can't use the same depot for both, or the arm will pick up the stone before it gets smelted again. So I added a chute that can be locked. And an extra funnel on the side to only accept smooth stone. This means that producing smooth stone is slower, it only works with one single encased fan, but it's the only item that has this problem, so it should be fine. I'm pretty happy with it. 9 encased fans will make any smelting be really fast, and I rarely ever use smooth stone anyway. This also meant to have an extra gap between chests for another funnel, because I'm already using all the sides of the chest. But overall the design from the outside looks decently good. Now this last section here. This is a bit impossible to see, but there is actually a millstone here. If I get myself inside of this. Here we go. It's get dropped into the millstone, and then a mechanical arm picks them up and moves them upwards. This is basically the easiest one of them all, there is nothing more to it. And lastly, the crushers, which is pretty much the same too. Items drop down into the crushers, then into the depot, and they get moved upwards with another mechanical arm. There is also this clutch here to turn off the crushers, and there is a clutch for every single section, so we can turn off whatever we don't need at the moment. Some are in a bit of a weird spot, but I should be able to place links on the other side of it. And this is pretty much all there is to it for this first building. I think I added a stressometer somewhere around here. Maybe it's on the chests. I found it, it was stuck between many components in the middle of the workstation. I must have forgotten about it after testing something. You can see how the setup is using pretty much the entire steam engine. This is the reason why I wanted to add so many clutches. If I turn off many sections, I could have spare for other stuff. But I'm also thinking about not expanding this site any further, and making the rest on a new building instead. Anyway, let's go back up, and test this bad boy. I have my entire inventory filled up with fishes, so we have a real idea of how quick it is. There are already 3 stacks in there, so we gotta keep that in mind when dumping all the stuff on it. Let's see what it takes to process this. one already is here. I'm going to put on a timer when editing this to know how long it's taking between stacks. But it is pretty fast for sure. As for the washer, I'm actually not sure I have anything to wash in there. Yeah, I've got nothing to use for that one. Nothing at all. Well, you can imagine how it works. You place down crushed ores, or anything you want to wash up. Then it will do so, and in the case of ores, we can also pack them together. The smelter, I do have something. Some cobblestone will do. We throw it on the top chest, and wait a few seconds to be done. And it's gone. And another one is gone too. Wait, I forgot the lever. Right, here it is. Some smooth stone should appear in a little bit because I forgot to disable that part. This section does take a bit longer, but it shouldn't be too bad either. I'm going to turn it off now that there is no more stone in the chute. And you can see a couple of extra stacks appeared. I got some more cobblestone to show the last 2. First let's do the crusher, to get ourselves some gravel. It goes one stack at a time, but it should be decently quick. Now with this gravel, we can check the millstone too. It might be the slowest one because millstones are not particularly fast, but we can use the crushers most of the time anyway. And here we have more flint than we will ever need. I really love how this is looking so far. The size is pretty small, and the steam engine looks really nice. With the water, and the pistons going into the building and all. Maybe I will end up changing those corners or something, and I still need to figure out if I want to cut this building here or add more to it. But I really think that this shouldn't be any bigger than it is. I have the feeling that going any bigger will kinda start defeating the purpose of a tiny compact town. I could place a roof on it, and be done with it. Then simply build some walls over here or something. The steam engine is at its limit anyway, so instead of powering it off, I can make a new thing on the side. I don't know, I will have to think about it. But what do you think, should I expand this one further, or make a new building and complete this one? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching if you made it this far into the video. I will finish the workstation and build the start of my shop on the next episode, so stay tuned for that too. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Take care everyone, and I will see the humans next time.